Tongue positions are really important in conscious breath work. Where you place your tongue and the effects and the consequences of that placement. So if you just make a sound for a second, make a sound ah, ah, and feel where your tongue is. It's kind of in the middle of the mouth. Yeah? And then make the sound ta, 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 and feel how the tongue flicks off the top of the mouth. And then make the sound duh, duh, and feel the tongue at the very top of the mouth. Tongue positions are created by the cranial nerves that activate the mouth, the pharynx, the jaw, and so on. And those cranial nerves, if you're going to relax those, then you can use the tongue position to switch them off or to switch them on and to create different effects in the system. So there are 5 tongue positions that you can use in your breathwork practice, and each one has a slightly different quality and effect. One of them is just resting the tongue in the center of the mouth, the tongue tip, just close to the back of the teeth. Try resting it there. These are the 5 basic positions. There are others. These are 5 basic positions. Just tongue level, tip of the tongue behind the back of the teeth. And then lift the tongue up and place it just above the roots of the teeth and press it gently up into the top of the mouth. And again, pressure can change the effect. If you press gently or press more firmly, it has a different quality, a different feeling to it. But if you rest the tongue up against the very top of the mouth there, it has a different quality again. Now, in some systems of Oriental medicine, they suggest that the energy line in the back of the body and the energy line in the front of the body are connected through the face. And if you don't use the tongue position there in breath work, your jaw is going to try and do that connection. So you might tighten the muscles up here. It then has a different effect in terms of creating a certain tensional switch that cuts off the head from the rest of the body a little bit. So you get this energetic schism, this energetic split. So resting the tongue behind the top teeth there is a very useful practice to have, and it can be very gentle contact. But it allows the jaw muscles and the face muscles to relax, create space in the face. One of the ways we divide up the universe is with nouns, with naming words, and that requires a tongue activity. It requires cranial nerve activity to verbalize those names. And even if we just think of the separate object, our muscles are being subtly activated. So having a way to switch off that activation, which this second position gives us, is very, very useful. So that's the tongue, just behind the roots of the teeth. The third tongue position is pressed up against the cerebral point, right at the top of the mouth. That's really useful for engaging the nostrils. It's very useful for engaging the scalenes and the throat muscles here. It's very useful for engaging strong, powerful breath. It's very useful for doing headstands. It's useful for a lot of different practices. And we use it within the Maha-Yoga practice as one of the positions representing and working with particular elements as well. And the fourth tongue position is the tongue going backwards, touching the space between the soft palate and the hard palate. And again, we've talked about that a little bit, about switching the nostrils on, how useful it is to do that, to help facilitate that experience. And it can be used in conscious breath work. And one of the ways it's used is to connect to the element of air. It creates a lightness and softness. And the fifth position is taking the tongue right the way back into the soft tissues at the back of the throat. And taking the tip up towards the back of the nasal passages. And this position here is very spacious. Potentially, it switches on the vagus nerve, and it causes a level of relaxation and dropping into a deep brainwave state. So that's used a lot in yoga. The name for it in yoga is Kechari Mudra, the space-walking mudra, the space-walking energy seal, to enable you to access the sense of spaciousness and awareness together. Sometimes that last position, the fifth position, is used in freediving as well. So you find those 5 positions that we mentioned there. There are a couple of others as well, but the 5 basic positions are level along, tongue behind the back of the teeth. Second position, the roots of the teeth. Third position, the top of the mouth. Fourth position, the junction between the soft palate and the hard palate. And the fifth position, up into the buccal cavity, up into the pharynx at the back, to heading towards the nasal passages. So those 5 tongue positions. Play with them, explore them. They're really interesting to work with in breathwork in terms of the different psycho-emotional experiences that you can create in your system with the different qualities and the different methods of breath practice. So there's a brief introduction there for you to tongue positions.